Yo,
what's up? Make it nice.
just out here, you know what I mean? For the most part, I'm pretty consistent about being out here. It's kind of cool that Green Eggs and Ham helped us. You know what I mean? That besides always being an avid listener and stuff, is also dope that even on a technicality, he was out here today too.
Friend, a listener, a supporter that came on the show, and we appreciate that. So that's something we're going to do more often. We're going to have people that support us. We're going to support them. We support each other. That's what we do. Listen, our podcast is all fun and games, but it's a lot of real talk. Even though we give each other a hard time, we try to promote each other, boost each other, inspire, mentor, all that.
But even with me and you, with the 1-2 where we get at each other, is all from a place of love, is from a place but we were covering it too, that is good for the creativity, like as far as even the brain sparring. So,
and to be honest, I love how you put it, like with the brain sparring, because it is a mental challenge,
and it's a skill you have to hone.
In a little bit of an interview, we had some fun. I did grill him a little bit on some personal shit, only because, not to get at him, but to just show even ourselves. We open up, we talk about our families. Like, to be vulnerable is to be real. I think that's the realest kind of real, right? And
strong as fuck, right? Because
Yeah.
it sounds like a cliche, but it's true though too, because it's from that again, besides the creative process, is like you mentioned, is like being true to self, and
Correct.
That's the most important thing.
Correct. So, and I'm glad he was a good sport about it. Thank you, Green Eggs and Ham, for being a good sport.
I like nonsense. It wakes up the brain cells.
Thank you, I Don't Give a Fuck, for being a good sport.
Shit talking to me is like team building, is like bond. Talking shit is the highest form of flattery where I'm from. If I was to ignore you or leave you without a dap, then it'd be an issue. And there's been those that remain dapless and will remain dapless for the end time, till end times. Because my war is everlasting. Even though nothing physical, everything metaphysical.
Are we speaking of the one who shall not be mentioned?
He never will be mentioned. But pretty much for that point,
some inside jokes, folks.
Yeah.
So, we have fun too here.
Don't worry,
we need to have fun too.
He's not a real supporter anyway, so he probably won't even catch the reference.
Fake.
He won't even hear it.
Fake supporter.
And who owned that wand?
We do not speak his name.
Again, so we get sponsored. I'm not name drop. It's close enough. Whoever got it, got it. If you don't, you remain dapless. That's what I remember my grandfather used to say about my grandmother. She was like a wooden knife. She won't fucking cut through the skin, but she'll fucking tenderize the spot. And it's one of those things where, again,
I like that.
We have to toe the line, and we definitely do. And you more so than me, because this guy's like a tightrope walker. Who's that guy that went in between the Empire State Building and whatever else it was?
I don't know his name, but there's
the
a
museum
movie.
there's
a movie with that.
But it's pretty much that. It's one of those things where it's an art, it's a rare skill, and bringing it back to Green Eggs and Ham and I Don't Give a Fuck, and all those that are continuing to be good sports and endeavor to be on the as guests with us going forward. Like, it's all sport. Bringing it back to the brain sparring and all of that. It's important to be a good sport, because so many times people get offended or even butthurt about things that, when you think about it, even recently, and this is, one of those moments where, like, real talk, even stuff that used to supposedly, I guess, trigger the anger, don't really trigger it so much. Because I even think to myself in advance, I'll have an introspective moment. I'll be like, yo, does this merit me even being so upset right now?
I gotta get more like that. I need to work on that. And you know what? Reference to my buddy Joe Monteperto and that guy. Interview.
Never met a Joe I didn't fucking appreciate.
That's a good one. Yeah. Not only
Joe's other shit.
Am I reminding you folks to subscribe, but I'm also shouting out another one of our podcasts. It's on the bonus. I don't know if you've checked it out. That one's got
mention it, because I think guys,
it's got fewer hits, and only because maybe it's in the bonus area.
They expect it in sequence.
Yeah, so right by our pilot episode, there's a second episode bonus with my boy Joe Monteperto. Another shout out to him. Very interesting guy, an author. He's been to the Amazon rainforest. Just very interesting guy. Good stories.
Joe, I promise you a semi-decent hat of some sort. And I fucking hate hats. I'll wear a hat.
He's gonna crack up. When
and
he
not a
hears that.
fucking, and not the fitted that he would probably expect, you know, just from hearing me. Like,
if you showed up with like a Kangol or some
Yeah,
shit, like
yo,
something
bro, yeah,
different, bro,
yeah.
something different. That
but
should
that's
be
the thing
funny.
though. But again, imagine
That'd
if
be
I
funny,
show up
bro.
with like a Fugazi one, like, you know what I mean, one that wasn't
Yeah,
real. Like
alright.
I'd get the shit for it too. Like that's why I thought of a Kangol. But unless it's a real Kangol,
Yeah.
probably not best route to go. Because otherwise I'm gonna look like some kind of shitty train conductor. You know what I mean? Like a
Some
pre-industrial
kind of like oddball.
train
It's got to be an
conductor.
oddball hat though.
Bro,
like,
what if it's like a straw hat? Just like back to my Puerto Rican roots. That'd be
That's-
fucking sick.
That's actually, and then you need a straw in your mouth too. You need to.
That's the farmer shit.
Yeah,
too,
you need like some real shit, campesino shit.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, some real.
Señor
shit.
campesino, quítalo de mi camino.
Nice.
And that's funny because that's actually an ad for, I think it's fucking salami, but
Hey, yo!
whoever got it, got it. If you don't, you remain Dapless.
And here, I love it. I love it. Forever.
Forever. Yo, that's a Sandlot reference. You ever saw that movie? I love that
Of
movie.
course.
Yeah.
Hell
Because
yeah.
I know that when I sent that as a GIF, that
With
probably
that dog and hitting
you
that
probably-
ball
yeah,
over the yard.
Beast.
Hell yeah. That shit's classic.
Yeah, I recently watched that
Big
with the
Blue
Blue Lion.
fucking
I remember that. So
dope.
I started getting her.
That's dope.
I started watching movies because, you know, obviously they're at a young age where they like all the animated stuff for
Yeah,
their
yeah,
age
yeah.
and what's contemporary now.
Same with us.
But I got her into the habit, especially that, and I don't want to name drop either, but you know the fucking place in fucking either Florida or California that every fucking child wants to go to. Look, that was clever. Then name drop there. But since we're gonna go there, I told her, I was like, listen, that's a movie from that production company, and
After you win the Super Bowl, where do you want to go? Anyway.
clever. So then, pretty much, I got her into the habit of like, all right, I watched one of your cartoons or one of your movies, but let's watch one of the ones that Dada used to watch when he was your age.
Well, I call them more like adult movies. Like now you girls are getting older because they're asking, you know, they're inquisitive. We started watching like some older shits that are even PG. They've seen a couple PG-13 movies.
Yeah, because then I'll explain it to her. Like, even if I have to pause and be like, oh, this is not appropriate.
Listen, they're
whatever.
gonna learn that shit in the school too. Like all the curse words, they're gonna learn at school. So like, it's better if they hear it. You know, I mean, they shouldn't. Like I say too much, but you know, like
I get told constantly
it's better
to fix
to
my
be
language,
exposed
though.
to certain things. You know, like. No, they're the best. Like they never said anything
But
even remotely bad. But
this is why it's because I remember one time she didn't even realize she was singing a song in Spanish, and technically that's a bad word, bro. And it
Nice.
it fucking wrecked her mentally. She was like, but I didn't mean to, and I was like, listen. I was like, I'm just letting you know so that you don't repeat it. This is why I tell you. I was like, dance to it and bop to it all you can. But so much of the music, and that's regardless of what genre it is. So much of it is really not for them. That's why, you know, with where when they make them, you know, kid friendly and they remix them for kids. Yeah. That's another one that I won't name drop. But the CDs or whatever, the albums that you can get with the fucking friendly kid friendly twist on them, is one of those things where I told her, I was like, well, that's obviously the clean version or whatever. Yeah. But I think that bringing it back to the three of them, given that we probably do have the foul mouths that we do, probably would be so yuck to them that they probably won't even want to do that.
True.
So it's like kind of a good thing. And I've realized that too, because even guys that I knew that they had kids or whatever, like sometimes the most obscene fucking vulgar bastard will have kids that are the complete opposite and are like good and
my girls
fucking...
never even said like even remotely bad words. Like they would have, maybe that one time they said like dumb or something, and then they were like,
yeah, because even that's a bad word.
Yeah, like dumb. It's like,
or like,
and I was like, no, like, you know, it depends how you use words too, because you can say blind, deaf, and dumb, and it's not a bad word if you use it in that way. So I you know, museum mode, I explain stuff to them, and it's like, if you call someone dumb, yeah, then it's a bad word. But if you say it, like, it depends, you know. So I'm teaching them how things work also, not just you can't do this, you could do this, but how things work. Like, I like to like exercise their minds, you know.
It's cool because like it even being around her when the blue line tells me, oh, fix your language, or you can't find better words. Like even something so quick that we throw around all the time that we'll call each other stupid and stuff. Like, yo, it really is a bad word. Like if you think about it, like it's a messed up, fucked up word
but
to say to somebody.
they put that shit on mad like TV shows, like for young kids.
Now, yeah,
they'll say stupid.
Yeah.
Like mad times that shit pops up, and now we're watching some PG shit. Now I'm talking about some PG shit they'll say, "Oh, he's stupid."
Oh, but
know,
you
like,
reminded me what I meant to
it's like,
say
what?
too when you
Yeah.
mentioned it earlier. But that's why I like watching the cartoons with her, because some of the cartoons even that they watch now are really for the
It's for older.
Yeah, the adult humor is
Yeah.
embedded in there. It's like it's almost like
Absolutely.
it's like a family movie on the low.
For real. No, but even what you said, the theme parks or whatever, bro, those movies, if you watch them now, there'll be some weird like innuendo, like there's like memes on that shit.
Yeah,
Like
that the adults will get or whatever.
Yeah,
or
like something sexual. There's like a
Yeah.
little sign. There's a poster of someone smoking. Like they'll put in like little weird shit, and like you don't even realize. But then like you're like when you find out about it, you're like, yo, that's fucked up. They would put that in a kid movie. But listen, it's all type. I don't know. Anyway, going back to the adult movies. So recently we seen Jurassic Park, the original. I remember watching that the first time. That shit came out what?
92?
90 something, bro. Early 90s.
It was early because I was like 6 or 7.
Maybe 93, 94.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look that shit
I was
up.
under 10 years old, maybe.
Anyway,
For
that
sure
shit
under
was
10.
like, there was a couple scary scenes, but they're good now. They understand stuff. They're good. Like when the fucking raptor comes out and shit. I'm explaining museum mode, the whole movie. I'm like, I'll wait for like a slow scene. I'll be like, raptors weren't that big. Velociraptors were like small like this. They were like, max 3 feet. Like
Yeah, I heard that they were like
they were mad small.
like a souped up chicken by tops.
Yeah, mad small. So I'm like, those are not velociraptors. And
She'll ask me the same thing about
and then
monsters.
she'll be like, then why is it? And I'm like, and we get into a little bit museum mode shit, but like I'm explaining to them. Even my wife didn't even believe me. She's like, nah, what do you mean? Like I'm like, the velociraptors are this big. I'm serious. They're like, and they might have had feathers, just like you said, like a super chicken. They're not, they would like hunt in packs. Like they were like predators and hunt in packs, but they're not like some big ass shit.
I
Like,
figured
that's like an Allosaurus type shit. Like that shit fuck you up.
That's what I mean. And I know that they're
that's
like,
not how they were.
They're like fucking reptiles and shit. But the way that I always felt, like, especially once I started to like those little fun facts that otherwise we wouldn't know, and that they did hunt in packs. Given that they were so small, like, think about it, it's like some kind of fucking foul reptile land piranhas. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you see how piranhas devour shit? I can imagine that since they hunted in packs like that, they probably just tore through everything.
Bro,
and that's probably why.
But they weren't reptiles. See, that's the whole thing. Dinosaur was its own thing. There were reptiles alive at that time, like crocodiles and some fucking other crazy ones. Like,
I meant to ask too, because I was like,
so
is
there
that
was
what you
like
even call dinosaurs?
some sea-dwelling ones.
Because they're more bird. They're more bird than reptile, right?
So dinosaurs are still alive today because technically, like, they have the same bone structure in the hip. What happened is they have this bone, dinosaurs, in their hip that sticks out like a fucking, right? It sticks out. Reptiles don't have that bone, but guess who has that bone? Birds have that same bone now. So it's like, wait a minute. So they're more closely related than them shits. Like, so you have to look at it like that. So that's why, there's a train of thought. Man, shit changes over the years. Like, for example, here's another museum mode. Did you know Brontosaurus? That sounds familiar, right?
That's the long neck bastard.
You learned that in school. It is a long neck. Did you know Brontosaurus never existed? That's not a real dinosaur. They figured this out afterwards.
Crazy.
Years later, what they did was they mixed the skeletons of Diplodocus and a Apatosaurus. Those are the two. They mixed
And Susie.
Brontosaurus never existed, and that
So they
shit's in
found
like
it.
books.
So that's why it's crazy. It's like, so they technically found it
yes.
by the cranium, right? Because I would assume, right,
From
that
the cranium.
that
It was the
it
wrong
had
head.
to be.
They
Yeah,
put
it had
the
to
wrong
be there.
head on it.
But think about it, and then again,
You know, it's like
further explain
fucked
with the because we're still in museum mode, but just based off the anatomy, that would be the one of the telltales, right? Because
Absolutely. So, and it was obvious because that same skull was now found with a whole other body in various places in the world. So explain that now. Why is it with a different body now? And this one, it was like partially found. It was like two fucking things going on. And you just found it like next to it. And you're like, this belongs to this. Where in fact, it didn't belong to that body. So like, they fucked up. Those original scientists, those original paleontologists fucked up. And they called it something it wasn't. They were fronting because they invented like some shit. Like, oh, this is a new dinosaur. Wrong. This is two other dinosaurs that you just put
and
together.
To a degree, I guess like trying to put yourself in the scientist's shoes, like it is exciting when you are researching and studying shit.
They got
like,
carried away.
You're gonna get
up.
you're gonna get fucking, you know what I mean? You're gonna get riled up and get hard-ons about, oh, I found something, you know what I mean? Regardless of what it was.
They didn't fucking fact check that shit. They were wrong. Same thing with like continuing museum mode. Like Pluto. Like now, Pluto's not a planet.
Yeah.
You know that, right? They changed this like 15 years ago. Like Pluto is like supposedly like a moon or some shit. Like they don't know what it is. It's just a satellite object, right? Flying out there like by Neptune and like, yo, this is a new planet. But in fact, it's like a moon or an asteroid even. But yeah. So just to finish off on our episode, again, we haven't dropped a date. Should we drop a date? Because we keep it like fluid now instead of dropping the date. Because the date ones were like the past tense ones. Like,
yeah,
that's a throwback episode.
Our real listeners know that the drops are on Monday. So just to reiterate that,
yeah, they know that.
And so I feel like we've done a better job of scheduling. Actually making time to record in real time, and you're a master at the editing process where it's kind of you're able to besides have all the files, just go through it and make it current, where I don't think a date is necessary anymore.
True.
So I think it's dope that you have previous files.
True.
Only because it'll be like archived thoughts.
Right.
And then that's when you can do the ping with going like the time travel shit.
Mm-hmm.
With your like message from the future, whatever.
That's your favorite shit. You
yeah,
see?
I like that shit. There's a bunch that I like, but that's
that
one.
And the tagline.
Yeah. Just because that's if in case you folks didn't catch it, that's actually Trip.
That's
on
right.
And
that's actually me playing on my electric guitar and then adding some effect on the computer afterwards too, like some extra shit on that.
Oh, so you like auto-tuned it to a degree, or
I kind of I distorted it on top of my fucking like electric guitar, me like singing on that shit.
It's tripping, make it nice.
Now you gotta listen to it
that's
again.
Like the second episode
I made like
in a row.
A little
Yeah.
shit, yeah.
That's the second consecutive episode in a row. Where I'm like, yo.
I love it.
I'm not gonna get into
it
about how
catchy, I'm happy. That's it.
I like it. I've covered it before the previous week.
Thank you.
It roused me up. Yes. It's just one of those things. I hope for as much as it's like incepted into my mind, I hope that it does the same thing for our listeners.
Well, thank you for the shout out to me, giving me props. Now I'll give you some props back. You're the one who's I edited it and I added to it, but you came up with this whole I don't give a fucking koala shit. That's gonna be our new promo shit that we're gonna be coming out. How about this? How about listeners? If you throw us a comment, a fucking feedback, a like, or whatever, and we know about it, we hear about it, and somehow that's a fucking promo sticker. You get the new fucking joints coming out. Okay, stay tuned. Some new promo stickers are coming out. All right, and I give you a hint. Baba, I just did.
And if you cover some real
koala
shit, if you cover some real shits with actual subscription and now the actual feedback of content for the future, you could become a promo, because you see, for right now,
you could be a promo.
You could be a promo, and then that
you gotta audition for us first.
Yeah.
You gotta contact us. Hey, and then worst case scenario, you still get a sticker. You're welcome.
And folks, I'm a creative director, but I would say
we're trying to give out stickers here, folks. So please,
I'm kind of tasked in part with talent acquisition. But this guy's a real fucking tough guy to please. You know, I'll have you know in advance.
Listen,
so be ready.
And to be honest, like, I'll give you some advice. Whoever you are, whomever you are, you don't gotta be funny. You just gotta be yourself. Not be timid. Obviously, you gotta be like, you gotta come out and be ready. And as long as you entertain or inform or some kind of shit like where it's interesting, listen. You're on. That's it. I'm not like that. You got to be real boring not to
It's
get
me
on.
building up the aesthetic, but
we can't put someone boring on. My bad.
We build the aesthetic up, but if you amuse him, I think, like I said, that's the easy way in. Between the two of us,
it could be anything. You could play the harmonica well.
The most basic shit. You could
be like
fucking make me tee hee.
You're an expert about grass, but like anything it could be. You know
even
what
if
I'm
you don't fucking impress him. If you make me tee hee hee, I'll at least, I'll drill it in his mind to be like, yo, let's hear it out at least.
But this is something you could agree upon. Here's
I'm
another one.
Folks, the inside track onto the podcast.
As long as you can be exceptional in some way,
yeah,
and you'll appreciate that.
The specialization of something.
Then
be special, bro.
Then right
we all
away,
are. We just gotta find our special.
You have an audience right away, so there you go. So
that's a good way to end it. You want to remind them of the last time to fucking subscribe?
Thank you.
No.
We do need to remind because we need those numbers to go up. All right, folks. So Let's get the metrics up. Thank you. That's
Yeah.
a 9 to 5.
We are
reference.
tracking it. We did have a shout out to the different spots.
Absolutely.
I meant to tell you too
absolutely.
that we got more dots, red dots.
All right, and we need to get the
Get the F out of here as
Yeah,
well. I'm gonna
yeah,
go
yeah,
the
yeah.
full wrap around just so how we wrapped up the podcast just now.
No. I'm good. I'm right here. So why even bother? But have a good night, folks, and thank you.
Bladios.
Point viral, motherfucker. And we'll go to the moon.